Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Falling Upwards. I am one of your lovely hosts, Emma, because Maddie always reminds me to introduce myself.
Yay!
And this is your lovely other host, Maddie. How are you doing, Maddie?
Lovely wood and lovely too. Guess who has mint cake?
What?
And you don't. I have Kendall mint cake.
What is that?
I'm pretty sure I've exchanged it before. Did someone not do their research? Because I went to the Lake District like a couple days ago and I brought back Kendall mint cake. And if you don't like mint, you probably won't like it. But let me read out the extensive ingredients list for you. Sugar, glucose syrup, water, peppermint flavour.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
just sugar. It's just sugar. But it's so good. And I've almost finished it.
I feel like I need to try some now.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Well, someone else who I think would appreciate some lovely sweet treats, mainly because she's releasing a book whilst doing exams, is the fantastic Sharmini Aphrodite, who joins us on the lawn this week. Her book, The Unrepentant, is out this month. It's 14 thrilling stories about desire, faith, and ideology set within the revolutionary fervour of Malaysia at a formative time for Southeast Asia when the British imposed the emergency to crush leftist and independent movements. It is a fantastic book. She is a lovely author. Maddie was sadly not able to join us, but of course she is here to provide her thoughts, as our King Emperor Arbiter-in-Chief of the Lawn. Shall we take a listen?
We're just going to keep on adding titles. I want them all, please. Give me more titles.
Yeah. You'll be like one of those rulers where your titles is a whole paragraph.
Yeah. Can I just say, she has one of the prettiest names I've ever heard.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is. Let's go.
Welcome, Sharmini Aphrodite, to the lawn. That's the phrase we always use. Hello, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, Amy. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I think I'm 7 or 8 hours ahead of you. So it's getting dark here, but it looks still really bright. And I hope the weather is good where you are.
Absolutely. I mean, do you want to tell our audience where you are right now? I'm sure they'd love to know.
So right now I'm in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. I arrived back from a research trip in Sabah, so that's on the other side just yesterday. So I'm still a little bit dizzy, and I hope, well, not dizzy, but I'm just a little bit not really out of sorts, and I hope despite that I've actually got an exam starting tomorrow, so it's a busy time, but I'm glad that I'm
my
able to talk
goodness.
to you, and thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Wait, what exam do you have? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, I'm allowed to say. So it's an exam to upgrade me from PhD student to candidate, or some kind of what's the word? Some kind of administrative stuff like that. Yeah. But it's a take-home exam, so I have to do it over a period of a few days.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's mostly what I'll be doing over the next few days, and that's mostly what I have been doing previously to right now.
Okay. We induct you onto the lawn, remind you that it is a safe space for you to be here with us. So I have to start with our signature question, which is, what is your favorite failure?
I guess if you were to ask me about failure, the biggest failure that I can remember in my life is the fact that I failed a very big maths exam when I was 16. So this is a kind of leaving exam. If you fail this exam, you basically can't leave what is that? Oh, you can leave the kind of equivalent of secondary school, but your options are very much limited. So I basically couldn't do much after failing this exam. But yeah, I guess it did kind of change the course of my life, because if I had passed it, there would have been other things that I would have wanted to do or pursue that I wasn't able to do because I failed it. But I think it's okay. I've enjoyed everything, not everything, but it's been a decent journey after that. So maybe not my favorite failure, but the failure I'm most thankful for. Apologies to all the secondary school teachers I had who really wanted me to pass. But I'm glad I failed that exam.
So if you didn't fail it, we may never have got Sharmini Aphrodite the writer. Is that what I'm getting from this?
Maybe I did like to write, but my life would have taken a different trajectory. I may not have written this particular thing. I don't know.
What did you want to do at the time?
Oh, it
Do you
was
remember?
also, I think I wanted to get into media. actually.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of funny because you need maths to get into media even at the time, but that was how the system was set up. So I don't know what I
Mm.
could have been. Yeah.
Wow. Well, if failure was like a little inside out character in your
Hmm.
head, how would he, she, they, how would they look? Can you describe them to us? Again, we've had a wide spread of answers for this. You can go wherever you like.
I'm just thinking of something that's colored green. I
Mine is
can't think of
green.
anything
Mine is
beyond that.
green.
Yours is green as well. Is it
Mine is
common? Is it
green.
a common answer?
We've had green, orange. We've had like an
Also,
orb.
people usually answer by colors and shapes.
Colors. Sometimes they've got like a particular outfit in mind, which that's
Mm.
a lot of thinking there. Something green. Like
Mm.
are they a big kind of entity that take up space in your mind, or just like a little thing that's in the
Mm.
back there being a bit unpleasant?
I think it's kind of having fun actually. That's not a physical
Okay.
characteristic, but that's how it works in my mind. Like it's having fun, but not even in a
Okay.
mean way. Like,
It sounds that failure isn't something that cripples you as an artist. I
mm,
think for a lot of artists, a lot of creatives, failure is something that's always there. It's something that they worry about when they're creating, but that
mm-mm.
sounds like it's not necessarily something that you worry about.
Yeah, because I think it's inevitable that you're never ever going to be happy with the finished product, and I think that gives the work a kind of generative impulse that's useful for future work as well. That's what I'm saying here, but I don't know if I.
Um, well,
But
our
yeah.
last lawn question to fully induct you into the space is we always say welcome to the lawn because the lawn is just this nice green place where all of
Mm,
our guests can come and be calm and have a great time. But what does a safe space for you look like in your head? What is that safe space?
mm, space. I think I'm thinking a lot of sunlight and water, and just more of a feeling than
Okay.
an actual place of familiarity and
Nice.
comfort. Yeah.
Mm. Are you a beach person? That makes me think of like summer, beach time, island time. Is that your
I think
kind of
I've mostly
thing?
been around the water because I grew up on the border, on the Malaysian side of the border between Singapore and Johor. So that's the southernmost state of Malaysia. It's not, it's technically part of a straits that's part of the sea, but it's a really skinny border. It's
Mm,
not a big one at all, but I've always been near it. And in Kota Kinabalu, so that's the city that I grew up in and that I return to often, it's also very much a seaside place. And the
mm.
kampong that I come, that my mom's side comes from, is also by the sea. So there's been a lot of water in my life.
Amazing. I feel like a lot of Brits listening to this will be very envious right now. I think every Brit, when it comes to winter, they're oh my god, I need to go somewhere with
They need to get to the
water
water
and a
and
beach.
sun. That's
So
always.
There's
beautiful.
always a
Mm,
way out. It's true. I never went to university and I'm doing okay. I have a career. Not that it makes much money, but I have a career.
Plenty of people don't go to university, can we say?
Yeah, I mean it's getting less important these days, at least where we are. So it's not the end. It's never the end.
I know you love a beach. What did you think of her
I love the beach.
safe space being kind of that warm, lovely climate?
I mean that's you can't get more peaceful than that. Soft sand, lapping waves, and the sun, and an endless expanse that doesn't confine you. You know, that's a lovely image. I think
Yeah.
that's a great safe space. We will fit it on our lawn somehow. It's going to be a very big lawn.
Anything else you want to add lawn wise?
I'm pretty sure that's happened to me as well, you know,
What do you mean?
like failing, but then it leading to something better.
Yeah.
You know, you never know. It's never the end.
No.
That's very positive, isn't it? I don't usually think like that.
Life is a journey. That's
Woo!
one of my favourite songs from Disney's Cars. Life is a highway.
Lol. Do you, Emma, do you have a failure that you think led to something better?
Oh my god. I try not to. No, you know what? I try not to think about failure in that way because then sometimes you end up making it a thing where, oh, the only way that failure is okay is if something good happens afterwards. So I try to think of it more as like, oh, this wasn't great. Okay. And
I
then
know we usually like our failures to just be straight up fails, but sometimes it can actually mean you end up somewhere greater than you thought you would be if you had succeeded in that thing. And I think that's just
Mhm.
a funny hyperbole.
That's true. I suppose the closest thing I can think of has been things like a restaurant that I've wanted to go to has been overbooked. So then, it's like either like a 2-hour wait. Sorry, this is such a weird example. It's like a 2-hour wait to go in, and then it makes you go somewhere else because you don't want to wait. Who wants to wait 2 hours to sit down at a table?
Yeah.
Sorry, no, thank you. And so instead of waiting for that long, you go to a new place, and actually that place is really nice.
Yeah.
I can't think of one specific thing, but I'm sure that's happened to me multiple times. And it's always like, actually, just because you didn't get the thing that your heart was set on, you like that happens sometimes with when there's something you need to purchase, and it's like, actually, the alternative was the one that was more right
Mm.
for me, or I got more joy from that.
You can overplan,
You
but
can.
if you plan too much and something in that plan fails, you're
Mm.
kind of stuck. You don't have any
Wiggle room.
free.
Yeah.
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 So it's good to sort of just ride the winds.
Exactly. Fully welcome onto the lawn. And the first thing I do want to mention, apart from your wonderful book, is obviously our listeners cannot see you right now, but you are wearing a fantastic shirt, which as soon as I saw it, I was thinking of kind of tiger stripe, the strong connection Malaysia has to the symbol of the tiger. Is that what you were intending? Take me through your shirt.
Yeah, so I think Malaysia does have a strong symbolic kind of affinity with the tiger, but there are two layers to this. I think we can think of the peninsula, the Malayan peninsula on one hand, which has a history of tiger presence in its geography and its climate. And so a lot of stories and a lot of the mythology that is wrapped around that comes from the fact that the tiger is an actual living presence, although its presence has excuse me, unfortunately eroded over, the past few decades of environmental exploitation, poaching and things like that. So that's the Malayan side, and on the other side we have the Bornean side. And there actually have never been a record of tigers actually present in Borneo. So I think tigers, they come in various animals. I guess I'm sorry to anyone who's more well versed in this science listening to this, but I think they've got like pre-versions of animals or something like that, and they don't have the current they've never had the current version of the tiger that we're familiar with um, in Borneo, but it's still very much present in the mythology of at least central Borneo, and it draws from it draws from a lot of things. Like it draws from the fact that there are, say, tiger pelts in some places, or there's even like symbologies of the tiger, maybe wrapped up in a pattern that you might see in basket weaving that you wouldn't necessarily think immediately of a tiger when you look at it, but what um, that is what that is what it represents. So that's also something I'm very interested in, both the actual presence of the tiger and the spectral presence, even though this is a collection that's primarily set in Malaya and not Borneo, which has its own rich history that I'm very excited to talk about, and maybe some other time.
What does then being Malaysian today mean to you specifically?
Hmm. That is actually, I think, a pretty fractured question because I do live in the peninsula side that I've mentioned earlier, but I also come from the Bornean side, and then I have ancestry and history from there, and that's where my research and my work is based. And I think the relationship between both the peninsula side, which has a kind of extractive hold over the Bornean side, is very uneven. So the question of what being Malaysian is also a very fractured question because I would there's a different scale of relationship, there's a different kind of affinity that everyone from every state might have. And with Sabah and Sarawak, so these are the two Bornean sides, they might, based on decades of histories of being exploited by the peninsula side, feel much more differently towards the idea and concept of Malaysia. So I guess maybe to put it simply, it's complicated, which is the boring like tagline answer. But yeah, I guess that's what makes things interesting.
As somebody who is so proud and so tapped into what it means to come from Malaysia, I've found as somebody growing up predominantly outside Malaysia that Western perception of Malaysia is incredibly different how
Mm.
Malaysians see and understand themselves. Hence why I'm incredibly excited about this book, because you really do traverse such a wide range of identities and stories within this book. Growing up, do you feel like, I suppose, as a writer and developing as a writer, how have you felt that your voice and your voice as a Malaysian writer has changed, knowing that you are in some ways trying to also reflect that accurately to people outside Malaysia that do
Mm.
not understand that?
I
Sorry, that
think
was a long question.
no, it's fine. It was a great question. I think for me, maybe the perspective that I come from is that I've not spent much of my life, if any part of my life at all, significantly outside of Malaysia or
Mm.
Singapore, which of course is just next door. So there is
Yes.
that cultural compatibility. So when I come into writing about Malaysia, I or even about the space that I'm in, I can't really think of an outsider's perspective because it doesn't
Mm.
come naturally to me to try and explain something or to in a sense try to explain something or just kind of make something clear because I don't really have that outsider's perspective of what might be confusing or mystical to the outside. And I think I also come
Mm.
from a
Mm.
perspective because growing up, most of the media that you consume, literature that you might consume, does come from the West, and you don't see people trying to explain, um, at least in fiction or creative writing, you don't really see much of people trying to explain
Mm.
daily details or stuff like that because they feel that it's taken for granted. So
Mm.
I
Mm.
also have no kind of, I suppose, urge to provide that kind of encyclopedic footnote kind of approach when it comes to at least the creative side of my writing.
If we delve even deeper into the Unrepentant, as I've just touched on, it's made up of all these little stories put together to create this big whole. How did you choose the 14 stories? Did they kind of come to you in one go? Did they
Hmm.
take their time to trickle in? Take me through the process.
Yeah, I think the writing of the actual story, so before it was compiled, before editing, the post kind of post structural editing and everything like that,
Mm.
took place over a period of 2 years. I think I
Mm.
wrote the first time sometime in COVID, so and the last one, I think I remember, because I do remember submitting the manuscript in 2022. So it would have
Mm.
been over a period of 2 years. And I didn't necessarily think when I was starting that this would form a collection. It was
Mm.
just based on things that interested me. And I suppose the time period as a whole was what interested me at the time. And it
Mm.
was only afterwards that I was able to look back and see, like, oh, I've got a bunch of stuff that is around the same
Mm.
time period, the same kind of
Mm.
questions and themes, and then it could be put together. I can't
Mm.
remember what was the first story I wrote. It might have been The Light of God. And I think the last story might have been maybe. No, the last story I think was the priest story. Or I think that was the
Mm.
latest one that I significantly edited. So there was quite a span.
Amazing. Do you have a favorite story? Do you have a top three favorite, or is that like choosing
Top
between the
three.
children?
I think the light of God is one of them, just
Hmm.
because. Yeah, I don't know why, but if I had to choose the priest one, it sounds so bad because I feel I forgot the title of my own story, so I don't know if it was any part of it wouldn't be the original. The antipodal points, I think, is the second. Third, I can't. I'm sorry. I think I'm kind of stuck between the Perumal story and the my father's country, mainly because, or maybe I think now that I'm looking back, those three stories kind of come from different segments of the history.
Right.
So I think they're quite a decent representation,
Mhm.
especially of perspectives that you might not necessarily hear while you're thinking about the Malayan emergency, even in terms of
Sure.
fictional depiction.
You start this book in the 1940s, and you
Mm,
look across the stories, kind of the independence movements, insurgencies within the country. And what struck me when I was doing my own research at the time was how little scholarship there really is when it comes to the impacts of colonialism and the importance of independence on the country.
mm,
And when I think in the West people look at British colonialism, it's still through an incredibly narrow lens. It rarely looks at the Southeast Asian part of the world. Is that why it was important for you to really spend time on these subject matters? or is that actually just something you've always had a passion for anyway?
I do think that it is important that we delve and give time to these, as you've mentioned earlier, like lesser explored histories. And I think even with the Malayan emergency, even within the kind of perspectives that we do have, we have certain perspectives that do have a greater focus that they do deserve, of course. But I was also interested in those that kind of slipped beneath the radar, like the idea of
Right.
liberation theology, which most people would not think of in a Malaysian context,
Mm.
or even the Tamil plantation stuff, or even if it's something a little bit more fun in a way, like
Right.
the cosmonaut story. We wouldn't necessarily think of all of these cultural linkages or like these. I can't remember the word right now. These, yeah, not these huge, great political kind of
Mhm.
overarching images, but smaller things like these. I was interested in exploring the emotional resonances of them.
Something that you've done beyond just your work with the Unrepentant is also look and explore kind of Asian voices in general.
Mm,
And I think the cultural imprint that East Asian cultures have been having on kind of global culture has grown a lot in the past 5 to 10 years, but not so much with Southeast Asian
mm.
culture. I'd love your thoughts on, firstly, what is Southeast Asian culture to you? And what does it mean to see a greater Southeast Asian presence kind of in the mainstream?
Mm. I think for me, there's no singular Southeast Asian culture, which sounds boring,
Mm.
but I guess that's because it's true.
No, it's
Even
true. It's true.
Yeah, Southeast Asia as a not as a geographic concept, but as a political concept was something that was created,
Mm.
and that in itself is just one single term that encompasses not only a wide ranging geography, but a whole host of histories, even within a single nation like Malaysia.
Mm.
There tends to be like dominant narratives which do not necessarily represent a whole. So it's a bunch of things that are all pieced together. So I think how, I guess, with the editing work that I do, how you can best kind of bring out the Southeast Asian culture to a wider audience is really
Mm.
to kind of give room for all the various contradictions and the various nuances that we have within
Mm.
it without having to say that this is a particular narrative, this is the dominant narrative, because even within a
Mm.
single country, even
Mm.
within a single town based on lines of class, ethnicity, location, we have so many different perspectives, and the only thing that we can do is to present them and collect them
Yeah.
as best as we can in the full integrity that they possess.
A very thoughtful writer. We love thoughtful writers.
She is, and it's very important stuff. So it's lovely to have that all in one piece.
100%. Go and check out the book. But you know what we've got coming up?
Did you know the coolest fish that ever existed no longer exists?
No? What?
Sadder than
No!
than
Tell me about this fish. Genuinely, what is this? What is
We're
happening?
talking about the second baspis, baby. Some of you may already know of this wonderful fish. It has no jaw. It's like 35 centimeter long,
Yeah.
and it's got like a whole armored head, I think. And literally at the front of its face is just this smiley face, like you know the smiley face.
See, Maddie is doing. I don't know how to describe it. It's like the kind of smile you see if you watch a lot of anime. Like it's a very like fixed smile on the face, and it should be delightful, but there's also a slightly unnerving element to it.
Oh,
But you
sorry
can't.
about that.
No, because it's like an open mouthed smile, and when you see it, you're kind of like, oh, should I be excited? Should I be worried?
It's
I'm
like,
being
you know, when
edgy.
you make a smiley face out of a colon and the capital D, that is its face.
Yes.
And it's got such an incredible build. Like, it's got this tiny smiley face at its end, then it's just a whole oval and a tiny little fin. I implore you to Google some images of the Sacombaspis. It is the most incredible unit that ever existed.
Go check it out, people.
And it's extinct now. Unfortunately, we can't see it now.
When did it go extinct?
A long time ago, MA. Let's have a look. The Ordovician period, and it inhabited shallow waters
Wow.
along
Okay.
the margins of the supercontinent Gondwana.
Wow.
I
Wow.
never even heard
That's
of
really a long
Gondwana,
time ago. That is such a long time ago.
so we're learning a lot.
We are.
From Pangaea to now, where was Gondwana?
I have no idea. One of our listeners, tell us. So if one of our listeners is into prehistoric land masses, please tell us because we'd love to know.
Tell us, because this is my new favorite animal, and I want to know all the facts.
I'm a big axolotl fan. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, they're smiley
Love
face creatures
axolotl.
too. They're so cute.
10 out of 10. Our listeners will hopefully be enjoying The Unrepentant very, very soon. But what are you enjoying right now that you'd like to share?
What am I enjoying right now in terms of
In anything that's bringing you joy?
tough question to ask when I just received my exam questions.
Oh no.
I just had a very nice cookie.
That's good. Cookies are good. What flavour?
Chocolate.
Like milk chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate?
I think it is chunks of different types. So it's also a very diverse cookie.
Solid. Can't go wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Solid.
What about you?
I've already exchanged mint cake before. I'm like 100% sure of that. But did you know that they carried it to the top of Mount Everest in like 1950 or something? Mm-hmm.
Is your exchange carrying things to Mount Everest?
Mint cake specifically, Kendall mint cake. It's Romney's. Because we used to climb. I mean, I've just been to the Lake District. This is what I'm talking about. We used to climb the mountains when I was a little kid with stumpy legs, and we would do the same. We would bring our Kendall mint cake, and that would be what gave us energy. And it is like 97% sugar, so that's why it gives you energy. But it tastes nice, especially if you let it melt in the mouth. So I will exchange if you're planning a excursion vertically. Get some Romney's Kendall mint cake because it'll keep you going.
Nice.
Only if you like mint.
Well, I will exchange, apart from obviously go and read Sharmini Aphrodite's book, The Unrepentant, I will exchange finger puppets. I was at Comic-Con.
Oh no.
A few weeks past and I got a finger puppet.
Another gremlin.
And I did not realise how joyful finger puppets are. One, because in this cold climate, they keep your fingers very warm. Two, because it's just hilarious.
But you can't. Okay, but it's not very practical, is it? That can only warm up one finger, but you can't exactly fit it on all fingers at once, can you?
I can do kind of 2 maximum, but that's only because I have very small hands. But you know, if you have specifically one finger that's cold, get yourself a finger puppet. But also, if you have multiple finger puppets, then you can play with them. I don't. I have just the one. So, finger warmer it is.
Is that a little duck in a... What costume is it wearing?
It is a pig in a crocodile costume.
There you go, people.
All of our guests that come on also share a sign-off message, so it can be whatever you like. It can be, we've had hygiene tips, we've had jokes, we've had just genuinely nice messages. What would you like to leave our listeners and readers with?
I guess the only thing I can say is thank you. Thank you to you for having this interview and actually being interested in the book that I wrote. And thank you to everyone else that's listening as well for being interested. And I think having this platform for Asian creatives just to get in touch with each other and talk to each other, or even for the listeners to be listening about all of this work is a great space to have. So thank you so much for that and inviting me to the lawn. I hope that was right.
What a lovely, sweet person. Maddie, what is your sign-off message?
That's really nice. I don't know how to top that. Just forget about me then. I'm not gonna add anything. Just Shamini. Forget about me.
Take your Kendall mint cakes to the top of Mount Everest if you can.
Yeah, and think of me while you do it.
My sign-off message will be, get yourself a finger puppet, because You
You
know,
just told people to
actually,
do that.
well, okay, I've got just a thought behind this because obviously it's coming up to a holiday season where a lot of people do take time off to be with family and friends, even if it's not because they celebrate any of these holidays, just because it's kind of a nice wintry time. And instead of watching TV, you could create a finger puppet theatre.
Oh, you know what? I've missed doing stuff like that. I think in primary school, one of my favorite little creations was like a paper puppet or something I made out of like wooden lolly sticks and some other paper I colored yellow or something. And it was a little character I made, and I loved it so much. I have no idea where it went. But I'm pretty sure I put in a little show for my mum.
Oh,
Put in a show for your parents or your family.
yeah. Do more analog things. I'm trying to get back into card games. Thank you very much for listening to another episode of Falling Upwards. The Unrepentant by Sharmini Aphrodite is out globally now. Go and check out her wonderful book. Maddie and I will catch you later on another episode of Falling Upwards.
Bye.